Welcome back to my channel. So I'm back into this worm tower, and it's been a minute because I've had some very negative things impacting my life, and so I haven't got back into here to feed them as quickly as I would have liked. But as you can see, these worms have done an amazing job. This is the top tray. If you haven't been here before, this is a Wormcity tower. This is my top feeding tray. This is my second feeding tray. This is an inoculating tray. So this is just bedding and everything else, getting ready for the next, to be the next tray up. This is a tray that I place on top, and worms just come up into here to breed. Oh, you're going to go down and cause yourself a mischief. There is a bucket underneath here, and underneath this one you can see these are 42 litre plastic buckets, just so that I can mostly work these trays up off the floor, and because each of these trays, as you can see, has holes in the bottom, so the worms can crawl up and down through this system. And then here, this is the roof of it. So my system is indoors, but you can have these outside. I am a bit out of breath because oh, there's that worm on the floor. Sorry, I'm going to have to move that because this is an outbuilding and it's a concrete floor. And so that little worm will dry out because they do need moisture to breathe. Now, a few videos back, I put in a kilo of red wigglers in here, tiger worms, because I wanted to up the production. And as you can see, they're doing an amazing job. But the other thing about this is that, oh no, that's a little fly cocoon there from something. I don't know what that is, but I don't want it in there, whatever that is. So I'm going to get rid of that. I'll sweep it out. Yeah, going back to this, as you can see, these worms are doing an absolute amazing job. Which means I can harvest these because these are ready. But what I do need to do is, because of the trays that I've got and the way I like to run this tower, I'm not going to have enough trays to get everything ready for these worms on time to keep moving them. So I've got another project coming up, and that means I want some of these castings. Sorry, again, I'm not feeling great at the minute, and that's due to the way that this negative thing I've had going on in my life has been seriously detrimental, not only to my physical health but to my mental well-being as well. That I'm holding because it's plastic from commercial packaging, so that's not great. But yeah, I want to get some pre-bedding done. So that's fantastic that they, in this time, it's about 3 weeks I think since I was last in here. So I want to kickstart some bedding off. So I'm actually going to take these castings out to do that, to quick start some bedding for this actual particular tray. So having just scraped those off the top, I'm going to do that before I actually rummage and disturb this tray too much and then feed these worms. I might not actually do, again, plastic, I might not do too much to this tray actually with the way it's looking before I actually fully harvest it. I am so impressed with what these worms have done. Oh, well done, little guys. I don't need too much, and I'm trying not to get, doesn't matter for what I'm going to do, it doesn't matter if I get some of the worms in it, because they'll be coming back into here anyway. So yeah, just a few handfuls. There's a worm. No, dropped it. There we go. Yeah, so that will do. Doesn't matter that there's a bit of bedding and things in. I mean, if I was going to be really pedantic, I could sift it out. But it's not. This is to quickly inoculate what I'm going to do. And I will show you that in a totally different video. So I can set that aside. And I have no space in here. No, I'm just going to leave that there for now. Right, so now we will go through this. And I've just seen this here. This is the avocado pit that I put in here, and as you can see, it's cracked, which I think is really cool. So they're actually, there's castings in that, so they've actually been getting into it. And please excuse, oh, there we go. Please excuse the, sometimes that I've not always got things lined up. I'm on a GoPro. And it switches the back screen off after a few minutes, which I think is ridiculous. I get that these things are supposed to be action cameras, but, you know, not everybody's stood in front of these things all the time. So how are you supposed to keep things, you know, in shot? It's annoying. But anyway, yeah, there you go, an avocado pit. And that's been in here for a couple of months now, and that's softened up somewhat and split. Cool. Yeah, but look at these castings. Oh, worm ball. Huge amount of worms in here. And this was the feeding side that I did last time. And so there's just a little bit of bedding that I put in here. If you remember from the last video, I had created like a soup for them of all different things, and put it along that side. But they are all, wow, look at them all. They're all over the place in here, and they've made short work of this. This tray is virtually ready for harvesting. More plastic. So yeah, this is superb. This little carrot. The thing is about these carrots, right, is that they're meant to stay in the ground for a long time. But this has been in here since well before last winter. I think what I did was, because I wouldn't have put it in here whole, I will have harvested loads of carrots because I use seed tapes, because I don't have the dexterity to be nimble enough to, you know, to direct sow them and then to faff about thinning them out. So I use seed tape because that job is already done for me. It's a little bit more expensive, but for me, and I don't even really like carrots. I grow them for my son and my dog. And I'll have just pulled that out, and then when I feed the tops to these worms, because otherwise I would have cut that up, and it's just acting as storage. The microbes are not getting into it. So yeah, that's why that's still there. But I keep thinking I should cut it up so they can get into it, but I keep forgetting, and it's not really that important that they get to it. It's more important that I get all this plastic out. But at least that's one thing. Once they get down to this stage, it's easy to pull all this plastic out. But I'm so impressed with these worms. They're doing such a great job. We went from having 26-degree temperatures here in the UK, which these worms coped with okay in this building. It didn't get too hot. But then all of July has been a complete washout. We've had storms, and when it hasn't been storming, it's just been cloudy. My garden was late getting in anyway, again, due to this negative impact in my life. I didn't get things seeded on time. I couldn't get it in the ground on time. And now, due to the bad weather as well, everything's behind. And so the only thing that I've got that I can consider a real success are these guys. They're doing absolutely superb. And now, normally, I wouldn't actually like disturbing them like this. You know, I'll say it again, I've come to doing this from running seriously huge muck heaps, you know, because our biggest number of horses was 17. So yeah, we ran huge heaps. This is been a learning curve coming down to running worms in such a small area. But the thing is that you can manage the way a heap runs better, so that you're not getting things compacting and what have you. Whereas in here, you don't want build-up of gas and anaerobic pockets, so that your worms can't get away from that, and you know, because it would kill them. And that is something I don't want. So even though there is a tower and they can move around in it, you know, it's not the same as them having a huge area to manage. But yeah, so that is that. I could actually harvest this tray right now, but there's still quite a bit of there is bedding in it that this camera might not actually be picking up. So I'm going to leave this because this is the end of July, and so in a few months my worms, I'm in temperate zone 8, which means that my worms spend quite a few months of the year just ticking by. So what I'm going to do is I want to get this bedding sorted for them before I harvest this. So I'm going to give them one more feeding. So I'm going to do that on this side this time round on this tray. And don't all fall down there. So yeah, so the next time after this is when I will harvest this. So they have done an absolute sterling job. Well done, little worms. Right. I do need, oh my word, some of them have fallen out on the floor here. Just excuse me for 1 second while I pick them up, because I don't want them getting anywhere else on the floor. I certainly don't want to tread on them. Right, so that's that tray. And then this is what was my inoculating tray. And I'm trying to think where I did feed on this one. So I fed on the other tray there. I fed this side here because this is where I started feeding this tray. I'd fed the other one in the middle, so I moved them one step over. What you can see, if you look closely in here, I've mentioned about not wanting to get mites in here, which is something that I don't want there to be a misconception. You can actually see them. You might or might not. There are mites in these trays because they are composting creatures, and you will get them. When I say I don't want mites, what I mean is I don't want huge blooms of them, because this is indoors. And not only that, but, you know, I want the worms to be doing a job, not mites. And, you know, I want to be feeding worms for worms to do a job. So what I don't want is huge blooms of mites, because whilst in small numbers they're not an issue for a healthy worm colony, in larger numbers, and not only that, but they squick me out a little bit as well. you know, it's not that they do anything major, it's just I don't like them. Sorry mites, but I know you're doing a good job and you are part of a healthy compost bin, but I don't want huge numbers of them, and you can bait them out. I had a bloom of them when I first started this bin. Again, going back, you'll see that I fed the new worms banana, and that's what caused it. So the worms had already eaten the flesh. There was just the skins left, and I used the skins on top. The mites go underneath, and you just pull it out and either rinse them and use it again, or you know, pull them out and do that. So yeah, the little white bits that you might see in here are the larger bits, because this is one thing about this camera, I can't zoom in with it because it is an action camera. But yeah, there's eggshell in this, which the worms do like because they have a gizzard. They're like chickens, they need that material to help them digest their food. So there is that. I'm trying to manoeuvre this light because it's exceptionally dark. To say it's July, we have no light here whatsoever. And I've got the light on in this building, but it's not very strong. So the worms can go down into the tray below this. You can see there's quite a few of them here. It's a lovely adult worm. It's got that raised patellum and that yellow tail. Doesn't like the light, so I don't want to have them in my hand too long. But you can see the difference between being in here last time and this time. They're already doing a lot of work in this tray. This tray will become a top feeding tray, and this is shredded. All of this has come from packaging from companies, and I'm actually not going to disturb them too much because what I want is just to feed this tray, and I'm trying to do that and see what I'm doing. Because again, this weather are changing in the weather, and when you've got outside forces being detrimental to your health, and your health is impacted by the weather as well, it's not good. It's exhausting. I mean, my conditions are exhausting as they are, but then to have everything else as well is just terrible. So yeah, there's a lot of packaging here. So all I'm going to do is move this over. In fact, I don't think I'm even going to put any extra bedding in here because all of this will just work as that bedding. As you can see, this is shredded cardboard, but it's not shredded fully. And then there's a lot of paper in this from packaging as well, from these companies. Get back in there, worm. And so I'm just going to feed on top of that. So I just have kitchen scraps, and again, this is very much a soup because I do want the moisture in this. But actually I'm not going to put this in that other tray because I want to keep that drier. So I'm not going to do that for them. I'm just going to feed most of this to this tray, and that might actually bait those worms from the top tray out into this. So that's what I'm going to do. The only other thing about this is I won't actually want too much in this one tray because that would be detrimental, because this is a soup and it's already breaking down. If I put too much in here, although there's the worm capacity and they might come down to it, it has the capacity to become anaerobic and to cause an issue. So I'm actually not going to do that. What I will do is put the rest of it in my other compost heap, my outdoor compost heap, and leave them to it, and actually feed this tower earlier. Oh goodness, I'm so stiff. Please excuse me. I'm going to take this glove off, which is now disgusting, and this is the eggshell, so I'm going to put that over the top, because that is what helps them to sort all that out, and then just cover it. So there we go. So there. So I'm actually changing my mind about things as I go here. I'm actually not going to feed this tray. I'm just going to put this tray straight back on top of the other, and hopefully most of the worms will finish off working this tray and then move down into the other one. And yeah, that's the idea. And then I will have the other prepared bedding in the meantime. So that's the plan, and I will come back to you and show you the little breeder bin in a separate video, and what I'm going to do with these castings to quick start the new bedding for this tray. So thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for sticking with me, and I hope you would like and share it, and if you're not already subscribed, please click the subscribe and the bell button for the notifications. If you've got your own channel, leave it down in the comments, because I'm an insomniac and I do like to watch what other people are doing. So thank you very much for being with me. Bye for now.